Alrighty, this game is getting ready to get started. I'm super stoked. We'll be seeing, we start out with Parzi. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to launch off forward into a straight dive, kind of juking back maybe behind some of his players. Let's see where some of this action is playing on these sides. We're going to TBG Dog. This is one of the players to watch here for Havoc. They're just kind of playing back, grouped up. Maybe they are. The strat is to group up here. Parzi going down by Joe. Not really super expected. Instant dive, 2 going down. Already back up. Something you're going to see about these games and this teams is their tags. They are not tagged for long.
One enemy
ever. One enemy remaining. TBG is going to try and get these untags. Gets it up. What do you think? I mean, do you see any clear anything here?
Not so far yet. It seems like just a lot of both teams diving in, doing great jobs of getting each other back up. It seems like no team really has the advantage yet in holding the other down.
Like by the time the audio clip finishes of one enemy remaining or one teammate remaining, they're already back up. It doesn't even matter.
Can't even switch to them fast enough.
Like I'm not even gonna try and call out these tags. We got 3 people going down on the side of Riot, and they just come back up. We're just gonna hear one enemy remaining over and over and over because they are so fast with these.
One enemy remaining.
It's just excellent teamwork from both teams. They're staying on top of their untags, which is, in my opinion, probably the most important skill to learn in this game is just making sure that your whole team is up. Because if your whole team is up, you can't lose.
Absolutely. Gonna go to a little bit of fly cam in a second to see if they keep playing in that area. But it looks like they're already out of it, so I guess we're fine here. They're just, the game.
Brief moment of reset here as it seems like both teams are trying to
figure each other out.
Yeah, figure things out, reconnect, recollect themselves, and hopefully re-attack.
And this is some type of play style that we've not seen before. I mean, these are probably some of the best competitive players that Vertical Shift has at the moment. And so new strategies are going to come out all the time to see what's going on. I mean, they're just like playing each other out. That's 2 minutes down in the game, not a single point on the board. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
It's about what we expected, though, I guess, from this match, isn't it?
I agree. We're going to look back on the tunnel, and you can just kind of see
enemy remaining.
Just all the chaos. It's right. It's absolutely just back and forth. So many jousts going back. You see Bomber getting tagged, Brick getting a tag, Parzi getting a tag. One enemy remaining, TBG Dog, and they're already back up, and it's like it doesn't even matter again. Going back into win, you can just get a little bit of this action. It looks like he's going to cut across. Maybe he's just coming out to try and juke. TBG. One's attack going down. It's almost too hard to follow. You just got to back up and watch it. Point on the board for Havoc.
Happened so fast, you almost didn't even see it.
You see what TBG does. I mean, they just play so grouped up. I mean, it's like they acknowledge everybody's skill at this level here, and they just respect it. It's like, here's my space. You're going to respect it, or you're going to get tagged.
Oh, absolutely. It almost takes a moment of individual brilliance from someone to try to score a point here.
And it's just so many jousts. Like, I mean, maybe that tornado was a quiet warm-up of trying to be able to get where you're trying to look.
If it's working for him, it's working for him.
I guess, yeah. I mean, all teams are back up again. What's watching what's down? We have 1 player remaining, and they're already back up again. It is 1-1 already. A little bit of Parzi. I mean, what do you think? I think the clock's going to run out.
I agree. There's no way either of these teams is reaching 7 points based off of how these matches have gone so far.
Oh, I'm calling someone's going to win. Someone's going to win 2-3.
2-3? Ooh.
3-2.
I can see it.
I don't know who it's going to be. Someone's going to find an edge, and they're going to punish it for the rest of the game, and that's who's going to get the highest point. 1 player left, Parzi. Everyone's back up already. It's just their untagging are so good.
1 enemy remaining.
I can't wait to see the scoreboard.
There's going to be, I think, some crazy numbers to see on the end of this one.
And there you go. Coming up, Havoc taking the point. 2-1. 2 minutes left in the game. Looking at Bomber and Joe. They're just back in that same corner. I wonder what they're thinking about this corner. I mean, it's almost like, if, zombie apocalypse, get up in the corner. You have one front to fight off. I mean, just the amount of untags here. The fact that you're not getting swiped out. 2 players going out. TBG is the last one remaining up. Can he get the untags? He gets the trade. Everybody's back up. Parzi getting tagged by Joe. CB Joe getting tagged. Joe getting tagged.
The scores
are tied.
Your prediction's looking even more and more accurate, Ben. Looks like we might end up with this 3-2 here. Both teams still kind of sticking to their guns, holding to their strategies. We haven't seen too much variation on this crazy kind of cluster here on these sides. But that just seems because Red is entirely unwilling to get out of these corners back here.
And they are just trading back and forth. Everybody's backing out. Bomber going down, Party going down, and they're already back up with the trade. I mean, that's just how fast these teams can trade tags back and forth. It's almost just like, it's just, if you can play that fast, I mean, the game will go as fast as you can play it. And if you have two teams that are able to push that reaction time and movement to the limits, you are going to have crazy high numbers, crazy fast, and close gameplay.
Absolutely.
2-3, 40 seconds left. The only thing that can happen here is a tie, to which I will be very upset.
Yeah, the way both these teams are playing, they honestly both deserve the win. I feel like a tie would be an insult to both of them.
All Riot needs to do is just not get tagged. That sounds super easy when you say it. They only have one person down, they're back up. 19 seconds, it might be 2-3, exactly as we predicted. 17 seconds, 2-4. Looks like the game's gonna go to Riot here. 16 seconds left on the board, unless they can pull it up 2 seconds. I don't even know if that's possible, to be honest. We're gonna dive into it. The game is going to Riot.
I was a little surprised there to see Blue just dive in right off the bat right there when all they really need to do was do exactly what win is right now.
Absolutely.
That's just run out the clock and take their victory.
Insane.
Well earned.
And you can see this replay here of just the chaoticness going in. You can see how Wynn just kind of dives into those tunnels and comes out and try and juke everybody out. You can see just the absolute chaos that happens in these games. Looking a little bit at the board, not as high as I thought, but very, very nicely spread out.
Yeah, I'd say it's still about what we expected.
I mean, but you're talking about players like Wynn and Joe and Brick and, you know, TBG, like really everyone in this lobby, when they're on teams with not these people, they have an 8x KD over everybody. And now you're in a literal level playing field.
Yeah,
with just normal stuff.
Yeah, the most telling thing I think here is looking over at Bomber Blast and Parzival, and that each of them had 21 and 24 saves. So while their tags may have been a bit lower than TBD Dog, who we did mention earlier was their dive, so he is going to have the most tags for them. That pretty much checks out. But we see that those two are definitely taking more of a support role to TBD Dog, while as on sorry, I'm blanking on the name right now.
Which one you looking at?
Blue.
Brick, Joe, Wynn?
3 of them, their team name. Riot.
Riot.
Sorry,
You mean
just
the
couldn't
top
think
right
of that.
corner?
Yep, I'm blind. Well, that's all right. Anyways, we see with Riot over there, they've got more so 2 that are in that striker almost dive role, and that they've got 23 on Wynn and Joe with 34 that round. Absolutely fantastic job, Joe. 1.79 KD. Phenomenal. But that might be what's ending up working in their favor here, is that they've got essentially 2 dives and 1 support, where it looks more so just based off the numbers that Havoc has 2 supports and 1 dive. And I think that's a lot of weight to put on TBD Dog's shoulder to kind of get them the wins here.
I agree. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this next game started. Game 2 of the set. Should be quite interesting. Start off with Parzi. See what they do. I wonder if they're going to change. Do you think they're going to change any of the strategy? Like, are they going to, how dynamic is this gameplay going to change in this set?
Well, just based off this right now, it doesn't look like Havoc's mixing it up too much. But we'll have to see how it evolves as this goes. Because if they can get an early lead here, they might not adopt their strategies too much. But if they start falling behind, they might need to change some things up, try to get this victory.
And it is interesting. It's almost, gosh, the best way I can represent it is games like Valorant and CSGO. And I don't know if I can properly transform this out, but like matches are so slow in Valorant and Riot, or Valorant and CSGO until they're absolutely not. And so these guys are playing and giving the respective space until someone flips the switch and it all becomes a giant chaotic fight out. One player remaining, TBG going up, and you know, we talked about him being the non-support of the team, but I do always see him kind of being that last, kind of coming in to pick up those last saves. Thoughts on that?
That could just be the luck of the draw as TBD dives in, gets tagged, his teammates come in to untag him, and when they untag him, they in turn get tagged, which leaves him remaining, which is, I believe, what's happening a few of these times, but it could also just be that he's doing the best at avoiding. He's very good at knowing when to pull back and almost doing that faux joust where he dives in, pulls back, and then dives in again. I've seen him do that a couple times. It's very impressive.
He has. We did acknowledge the point going up on the board for Havoc, and they're just playing in these lanes. One person remaining, Brick, and they're already back up again. It doesn't even matter. We got a little bit of a side action. See if we can get a little bit of a view. Mouse sensitivity is a little bit low, but you can see in that corner they do have only Parsi back up, and it is 1-1. Again, what's your score predictions this time?
This time I think we're going to see a 4-3.
A 4-3.
Yep, I think they're going to score. Somebody's going to get a couple points here and get them real quick.
That's interesting because, like, I kind of agree, but I kind of think there might be a bigger gap between the score this time because after your first game, you know your players, you know the other team, you know how they're going to play, but then when you're in the field, you learn those tiny tricks that they didn't tell you about that they're going to pull out. And once they do that and expose them in game one, then I mean, you know, if they find that out, whoever finds that out about the other team first is going to get the acceleration and points. Unless they're both on the same playing field, to which I think the point difference will be very small, as we were talking about.
Absolutely. So what I'm seeing happening right now is now that Havoc has taken the lead, they decided to go back into their corner, which is actually working in their favor, it seems. That first point before that, previous one, they were all in center, and
did they just go to
seemed to work well for them. I believe they did just go to tunnel. See if they can find it.
Playing in the tunnel here, looking at TBG Dog. You know, the tunnel is always an interesting spot for play. You don't see a lot of, like, it is used for flanks, but every time I see it, 4-1. Interesting how that's working out there, huh?
No, I'll just not talk anymore, I guess.
But I mean, it seems like this team really is kind of, it looks like they're figuring out how Riot plays. 3 minutes on the board, it is 4-1. I mean, it's interesting. I wonder what Riot's going to have to try and do here to change this out.
A very good turn on Havoc there.
One
enemy remaining. Everyone's back up. We're going back into that tunnel fight, or not tunnel fight, that side of the map fight.
Enemy remaining.
Just looking down at that is absolutely crazy here. We're going to start trying to read off the tags. It is now 4-2, so I mean, either of us could be right.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. There's still 2.5 minutes. We could have both undershot this as well.
Absolutely. Havoc going up. That makes it to 5-2. I think that'd be close to game there, but there is still 2 minutes on the board. But with how long these rounds take, it'd be absolutely kind of crazy. When being the last person up on the board here, trying to find him. There he is. He goes in, and it is now 5-2. I do think Havoc is starting to figure out Riot a little bit curious of what they're going to have to do to really bring this out.
Riot's got to change something up here. I'm not quite sure what that is myself yet, but
I want to see how Lynn plays this round because we have been switching around and looking. So they are going in the tunnels. I see the dive. They get the dag on TBG and Parsi. One person remaining of Bomber, but they do get one down, losing Wen. It looks like Parsi and Wen are still left, and it does bring it up to 5-3. They're bringing that round back for him. Whatever that call out was to go up to the tunnel, I think brought that round to him.
Absolutely did.
1 minute, 45 seconds on the board. TBG going down by Joe. Bomber going down by Brick. But they're already back up, so it doesn't matter. And following the cycle, we lose Parsi. TBG, but again, they come up so fast. They're changing so fast of how much that is going down. Go back up a little bit just to see what's going on. See this lower bit view. One enemy remaining.
Enemy remaining.
So much chaotic stuff going on here.
Enemy remaining.
One enemy remaining. Where is he? Let's find Bomber. There he is, up in the tunnels. We're going to see how he plays this. 1 minute, 10 seconds on the clock.
Ooh, got the tag.
He got the tag. Does he get the double?
Ooh, so close.
5-4. What do you mean so close?
Almost got the tag off.
Oh, you know what? These guys switch around teams so much, I keep defaulting to the wrong one. You're right. 5-4. 1 minute left. I might be full of it for all I know.
Could be.
I'm going to start putting
We already have
2 down.
Red team score.
Or was that a 3? Did they get all 3 there?
That was interesting.
I didn't see that. Wow. Game point. 45 seconds left. 6-4. Definitely a lot higher score. They feel like they were feeling like each other's teams out. TPG Dog gets the double, but couldn't finish it off to get the point up.
Remaining.
Lots of tags and lots of changes going on here.
remaining.
30 seconds on the board. 7-4. It does look like Havoc is going to take this one. That's 1-1, ain't it?
I believe so.
That being the case, we'll be going to game 3 in just a moment. Going to be looking at that last play there. You can see when. That's that tunnel play. It's absolutely insane. These guys are all good. They're all great. Just how they do that. Just he goes in, goes back, gets the untag, and then goes out. Looking at these stats, tell me what you think.
So, once again, I think the stats kind of say it all. The game that time went to Havoc, and if we look over at Riot right now, we see Win did not have his best game, only 9 tags, but Joe, again, with 30, having a phenomenal game. I think the biggest difference this time is that we see a lot more even spread on Havoc. So our red team Havoc has similar, more similar of tags in that they've got 20 into 17 with TBD Dog and Bomber Blast. And I think that helps them with really just getting enough people down at a time that they can just then all focus on the final man.
I agree. That is very, it's just, I like how evenly spread this is across both teams. It really is showing that everybody's putting in their weight. And I think that these teams, it just proves that they are an absolute great matchup for each other.
Oh, they really, really are.
So we will be.
So evenly matched, it's honestly like we set it up.
We'll be moving into game 3 for this in just a second. Checking in on the chat. People have no idea what's going to happen this next round. Who's going to win? I'm honestly just, if Havoc keeps playing that out, I think they're going to keep figuring them out, and I think it's going to start leading towards Havoc. But we can go ahead and get into this game 3.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Starting out with Parsi. They're just going to go to their corner. They're going to start rinsing and repeating. We're going to see how this starts to play out. We're going to have to see how Riot changes this. You can see they just all instantly start diving each other at the same time.
Blue team
Like
takes
they
the
smelled
Instant
blood in the
point to
water.
Riot. Alrighty, we do see book tags show 2 players going down on Riot, but instantly back up. 1 player down. TPG remaining. Gonna have to go get those untags, and it is now 0-2, an absolute flip, swinging it out from Riot.
Riot seems to be, I think the players are just popping off this round. They're just getting those tags, winning their jousts, and keeping Havoc pinned down.
And looking at Win, it's TPG Jogs, always the last remaining. Blue coming back up. It is now 0-3 on game 3.
Wow, this has been the fastest. I don't know what's happening with Havoc here. They need to reconnect here and try to figure out how to counter Riot.
So I think what might happen is they might have realized, wow, how all those teammates turned around at the same time to dive. That was something cool to look at. Someone needs to clip it. I mean, so if Havoc leans into this, we think we figured them out too much, and leans and adapts to that too much, and it's wrong, their weaknesses are going to start showing in result of that, and that's why Riot is kind of flipping back to their power side. Bring it up 1-3. That's a lot of rounds in a minute and a half.
Yeah, some of those were very, very quick. Those first 2 were over in seemingly seconds.
TBG and Joe going down, already back up about the same time. Bomber and Brick being both traded out, back up at the same time. It's like routine. It's like these guys are just so into it that it's just, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff until you see something absolutely mind-blowing. You see from Joe, kind of just, it's again, just the giant cluster of these guys going back and forth. 1 enemy remaining, except it's already alive. These guys are so fast at it. We got Bomber going down, TPG going down, Parsi going down, but they all get up in sequence. That is teamwork reaction right there.
Struggling to get Parcel back up. Oh, there they go.
Bricks going down and back up. I want to start seeing these average time tagged times. for these teams. Just see how quick these games move. Backing up a little bit, we do have Win being down, Joe going down, probably going to get up in a second. And you can see how quickly that drag, if you watch those squares at the top, you can kind of see how it moves. I guarantee you TBG is going to get both of those guys up, and they're going to all be back. And it's just, you can kind of see that sequence of who's untagging, who's saving the teammates. And it's almost just like a little light show at the top. Bring it up 1-4 for Riot. Any predictions? 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the board.
Riot really seems to have Havoc figured out right here. I'm not sure what Havoc can do to kind of change that up, but see if Bomber Blast can get his buddies back up and get them back in this.
Blue team score
1-5. I mean, unless Havoc, I imagine they're going to take a drastic change here if we go look at their side about how they play. You can see, you know, they're not playing their corner anymore, and that's something that was super helpful for them in the beginning. Why they thought they could, if they, you know, I'm tripping over words, but they stopped doing it, and then now they're taking more tags down. You know, you'd wonder if they need to go back to that corner and maybe adapt that strategy a little bit for this later game in the set.
Yeah, they've definitely sped up their game a bit, and it seems to be in Riot's favor. So they might want to just take a minute and slow things down, make sure they know where each other are and what they're trying to do.
And that makes absolute sense too, because when you look at Win, like the team, the structure of Riot, Win and Joe are huge divers, and they show that on the board. And so if you aren't playing grouped or kind of together, or you're not going to try and disorient them, if you just play standard jousting tag, like when I just like diving middle with them, they're likely statistically probably going to come a little bit out on top, and that's showing a little bit.
Absolutely.
Enemy remaining.
Checking out a little bit Bomber, we do have just Joe being tagged down on Riot. Everybody is up on Havoc, except I lied because now there's someone tagged. But again, it's just the normal stuff we are used to seeing. It's just like they moved their giant storm here of where they're just jousting each other instead of the side aisles. It's on center, and it's just kind of something interesting like that.
Yeah, though I will say, even if they are just all clustering around the center rather than the sides, it's still, you have a lot more options for your grapples of things you can swing off of and rotate around. When you're in the corners, you only have the walls, but even in the center, you can almost use the tunnels a little bit. You have more objects to kind of swing and alter your flight path. Changes how you can move more so than, I guess, where you can move.
I agree, yeah, you definitely have a lot more kind of versatility in these open areas of the maps, and that is by design. I mean, you can see the isospheres, the tunnels, you can see the little archways on the bottom. Those are all there for you to fly around and juke out your player or other teammates or other, you know, players without having to use all your resources. Using, you know, the arcs and jetpacks and, you know, saving your zips when the fights and jousts really matter. It's just these flanks were kind of designed. I mean, you could literally see through them. They were kind of designed for you to be like, hey, you can't touch me, but I'm going around this way. And that's what they were seen for. 38 seconds left, 1-5. I think this game is going to go to Riot, making the set go to Riot. But I can't call it until that timer hits 0.
Seconds remaining.
Nope. Can't quite yet, but it would be a monumental feat on Havoc's part to come back now. With only 20 seconds left, it might even be mathematically impossible at this point.
I think it is, because the timer does not stop during rounds, and there's 5 seconds of wait time per round. So, you know, 20 seconds of time needed to go back up, you know, to even get that out. So it's absolute game point. But
with the point for Riot there, like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all right. They'll have the entirety of the loser bracket, and I think they're going to dominate that right there.
What a phenomenal match.
Going over to check out that replay of just the absolute craziness going down. You can just, this is where craziness, I mean, just where they all disperse at the same moment. It's like they all hurt each other. That was the closest match. That was the closest set, I believe, that has been streamed today. Gonna move over and look at that scoreboard.
Similar numbers once again. We see Joe topping our leaderboard right now. 37 tags, 20 frozen, 21 saves. A mind-blowing performance from him. If I had to give the MVP of this set to someone, I think I'd have to give it to Joe, just based